Johnny's VDC victory, New York's newest notion, and powerful presidency past. I'm David Hood of the Diplomacy Broadcast Network, and this is Deadline, DBN's monthly news program. Dateline, January 2023. For our feature story, I know that you all want to be in the know. You have tuned into this broadcast network to keep you up to date on what is happening in the world that matters. You really desperately crave to be one of the cool kids, someone who's in the club looking out at all those ignorant diplomacy people instead of always being on the outside looking in. Never fear, we at Deadline got you covered. Later in this broadcast, a panel of hip hobbyists will tell you exactly who or what in this hobby is hot and who or what is not. But first, let's take a look at headlines from around the world of diplomacy. Issue 160 of the hobby's flagship publication, Diplomacy World, was just released on the DW website by editor Doug Kent. In this winter 2022 edition, we get featured articles on scoring systems, diplomacy, tactics, tournament reports, and hobby history. There are 3 variants provided as well, including the Empire City variant, in which the 5 boroughs of New York City square off against each other for dominance. There are also letters and columns from old-time hobby legends like Stephen Agar and Mark Nelson. And if all of that wasn't enough, Zachary released his 2022 Virtual Diplomacy League Award winners in this edition of Diplomacy World. Fact is, you just shouldn't miss this issue, and fact is, you don't have to, because the link is provided below in the show notes. In the last edition of Deadline, we reported on the announcement from Meta that its artificial intelligence agent, known as Cicero, had not just successfully played full press diplomacy with human players on web diplomacy, but had actually won the BlitzCon live online tournament. We also interviewed lead researcher Noam Brown last time here on the show. This month, I'm here to tell you that in addition to that original article in the journal Science, various mass media have jumped on the Cicero bandwagon with content of their own. The Economist featured the news on one of its podcasts, while Vice, The Conversation, and Vox each ran articles about Cicero as well. Putting aside the news about the AI itself, this may be the most publicity that diplomacy has received any time in the recent past. Let's hope the hoopla over this Cicero character can help us spread the good news of diplomacy with a world who should really hear it. Links to all of this content can be found below. The 2022 Virtual Diplomacy Championship was just held back in mid-December on the VWDC Discord server. Riaz Virani of British Columbia took the title, playing one of his favorite great powers, the Turks. Riaz took control of that top board at the very end, parlaying his strong alliance with the Austria of Christopher Ward into a winning position over the Germany of Johnny Gillam. This year's VDC, which is a co-equal world championship to the World DipCon and the ODC, featured a number of exciting preliminary games to go along with this true classic of a top board. If you missed it live, lucky for you that our full Diplomacy Broadcast Network coverage of the VDC is available for your viewing pleasure right now using the link provided below. It is a busy time in the world of tournament diplomacy as we record this in mid-January of 2023. The final events of the 2022 season, and thus the final opportunities to gain a berth in the 3rd annual DBN Invitational, taking place in February, would be the top boards for both the French Language League and the Virtual Diplomacy League. They're being played as we tape this episode. Results of those games are not available at press time, but next month we will have a full recap along with a report on the progress of the DBNI as it progresses to the Super 7 game at the end of February to crown this year's recipient of the Cal Hammer Cup. But Janus, the two-faced god for whom this month was named, does not only look backwards, but also looks forwards. The 2023 diplomacy season will soon be underway, with the face-to-face events like Cascadia in British Columbia, the first week of February, and then whipping in California in April, and then, of course, the resumption of league play, which will probably begin in March. A registration form for Cascadia can be found below in the show notes. And stay tuned right here on DBN for updates on other events as information becomes available. Now let's take a trip around the world of YouTube channels and other diplomacy content creators to report to you on the latest and greatest new diplomacy products from what we call our DBN Media Partners. Florida Man, whom you may actually see in person later during this broadcast, has already released a number of videos on his YouTube channel about how to play certain powers. But recently, he started a new series on the play of England. This first product focuses mainly on how to survive in the early stages of diplomacy game as the island nation, as well as a detailed analysis of England's early relationship pros and cons with each of its neighbors. Amby and Kaner's Diplomacy Games podcast this month saw a return of the Diplomacy Trivia Contest, the first one having been approximately a year ago. This edition featured a back-and-forth contest for trivia supremacy between Marcus Zylstra, Hal Shield, David E. Cohen, and Peter McNamara, with the winner being, well, no, I ain't going to tell you. Go check out the podcast itself. Trust me, you will enjoy it. And then the Diplomacy Briefing newsletter continues its weekly dose of news and commentary from some of the hobby's best writers and editors. This reporter particularly enjoyed VDC winner Riaz Varani's explanation of the concept of karam in the Middle East and its relationship to the game of diplomacy. But really, you should just subscribe to the briefing itself to get all this dynamite content on a weekly basis. Link to that particular edition of the briefing can be found below. Speaking of the briefing, its subscribers recently voted for 2 hobby awards now promoted by the newsletter for the hobby at large. One of those awards is called Literati of the Year for the best article from the Diplomacy Press, and then the other award is for hobby service called the Ambassador of the Year. The Diplomacy Broadcast Network just released the first ever hobby award show on its YouTube and Twitch channels, featuring not only the winners of these 2 awards, but also highlighting the Virtual Diplomacy League awards that had already been bestowed by VDL Commissioner Zachary Moore, as well as a new set of awards given out by DBN itself. We're calling those the Hammers. Hammer Awards were given out this year for Organizer of the Year, Opening of the Year, Alliance of the Year, the Everywhere All at Once Award for Quantity Participation, and finally, the Great Power of the Year. You want to know who won? Go watch the bloody show. The link is provided below. Trust me, you will want to. Christopher Ward's video contributions to the show are not to be missed. In league news, the Nexus League's Discord server runs a series of events for diplomacy aficionados of all kinds. The 2022 season for the Extended Deadline Press League recently wrapped up its regular season with Australia's Josh Hennessy, also known as Jack the Ripper, as the clear winner. He was able to succeed against a field which included other top 7 finishers: Andrei Gribikov, Bradley Grace, Riaz Varani, Matt T., Roni Mordvanov, and Evan Swihart. And now they're playing an exhibition game with these top 7 players, where Jack the Ripper has been able to choose Germany as his power. Will he prevail in this exhibition game? We'll report on that contest during next month's deadline. In the meantime, Nexus Leagues has announced that the 2023 Press League season starts on January 16th. So if you've always wanted to try your hand at an extended deadline league, now is your chance. And finally, in club news, the largest U.S. metro area to have never hosted a regular club or tournament play is undoubtedly New York City, but that may be about to change. Johnny Gillum recently announced the formation of Diplo Rats, a club for anyone in the Big Apple who wants to bash each other's heads in over a diplomacy map, i.e., have a fun and relaxing diversion. Folks should contact him on Discord or at jagillum6@hotmail.com. The schedule for the club play is as yet in flux, but there may be a game as early as Sunday, January 22nd. Eventually, they're hoping to play at a chain of board game stores with which the hobby has an existing relationship. If you live in an area without a diplomacy club, which frankly is almost everywhere, why can't you be the change you've been waiting for and start organizing that club today? You can contact anyone at the NADF or here at the DBN to point you in the right direction. It's time now for the interview segment of this month's deadline. Last month, we checked in with outgoing North American Diplomacy Federation President Siobhan Nolan about the highlights of her presidency and her outlook on diplomacy's future. This month, we talked to her successor, newly installed President Zachary Moore from Minnesota, to get his take on the current hobby environment as well as the opportunities and challenges facing us as we start his term as Hobby Grand Poobah. Well, hello, Zachary Moore, and welcome to Deadline.
Hello, David Hood. Thank you. Thank you.
Sure. Tell us, first of all, how did you get involved in diplomacy to begin with?
Yeah, it was about, must have been 8 or 9 years ago now. I was minding my own business, eating lunch with a friend, and he had talked about this online game that he was setting up of diplomacy that he needed one more player to round out. And I was excited to hear that because I had a copy of Diplomacy sitting in my closet gathering dust for about 4 years at that point. I was intrigued by the concept, but lacked the diplomatic skills to convince 6 people to try it with me, as has been the fate of many diplomacy game boxes. So that was my first game. I got crushed. I got taken advantage of by this player, and then he decided to bring me to the Weasel tournament in Chicago that he knew about, COD-Con. Rest in peace to that event. And the rest was history. I had a great time at that event. Got crushed, but was really energized by the level of competition and the intensity. That really drew me in.
Did you ever actually improve in your diplomatic abilities after that? I'm just asking.
It's gone up and down and sideways, and some might say it amounts to one big circle, Dave, the circle of life and the circle of my playing abilities.
Well, I'll leave you to ponder that circle on your own time.
Ponder these, David. Look at that. Trophies.
Wow.
Evidence. Huh?
Wow. Evidence of that's really great. So let me talk about another one of your achievements / what you've agreed to do for some reason, which has become the president of the North American Diplomacy Federation. What caused you to make the jump from, and this is not the first time you've been involved in, service to the hobby or organizational type activities. What caused you to come from being a player to being more of a organizer / hobby poobah?
Yeah, it was just that I wanted to play more games, and I had this friend. His name was Ben Johnson. He introduced me to the game, brought me to Chicago. We both had the itch, wanted to play more games, and so finally in 2018, after talking with the old stalwarts of the Chicago Weasels Club, the Jim O'Kellys and the Dan Burgesses and the what have you, they really encouraged us to just go for it and start a club in Minnesota. So we did, and it started to thrive at the end of 2018, throughout 2019, and into the early part of 2020. We were having a board just about every month of locals. We're about to get our first 2-board event, David, in March of 2020, and then we know how that went. So everything got shut down, moved online, and that was really the moment when it shifted from being just a local thing with Minnesota guys to being more involved in the national and the global hobby. Because once we started, we really just intended to play Minnesota games with Minnesota people online through voice on Backstabber, and just somehow a couple people heard about it and just joined the game that we didn't know. So we said, well, fine, the more the merrier, and started advertising it to the broader hobby. People liked it. It became less of a Minnesota thing, more of a world thing. So that was the birth of the virtual diplomacy league, and the rest is history in terms of my involvement.
Certainly is. Now, North American Diplomacy Federation is, of course, a broader sort of thing. It's not one specific activity or one specific league or one specific club. So what are your goals for that role, which is frankly a little different role?
Yeah, I think what the NADF has been for, a lot of its existence, and in particular, I would say the last 5 to 6 years, its crown jewel has been the establishing and the maintenance of the code of conduct, and kind of overseeing or at least encouraging the cultural change that has taken place within the game over the past several years towards, respectful and polite, and kind of more mindful play of the game. And that's really been the focus for the last 5 6 years. I think what people are starting to hope the NADF becomes more of in the future is a support to tournament directors who do, like yourself, David, who do a lot of work, toiling away, organizing these yearly events that really sustain the hobby. And so the questions we're going to be asking, I think, over the next couple of years are, what can we do for tournament organizers to make their life more easier? There you go. How can we provide, connect young, energetic people who want to help out in the hobby to exhausted tournament directors who would love to have help with their events, whether it be from recruiting, from trying to, retain new players, whether it be social media, online outreach, and just kind of connecting with tournament directors and finding out, where are the spots where we can help.
Well, do you think that burnout or difficulty in putting events together is one of the challenges facing the hobby, or do you see any other challenges right now facing the hobby that you think the NADF can help with?
Yeah, I think burnout is a challenge because of the way that the hobby kind of moves and works. Is uh, Typically individuals will get excited and start something and build it really big, and that's tremendous, and it takes a lot of effort. But then, kind of the next phase of making something sustainable is finding help, because things that ultimately outgrow the capacity of one person, and so finding help is that crucial second step that I hope the NADF can build towards helping with, because I do, we've seen it a lot of times where people's plate fills up, fills up, fills up, and then they feel like they just got to back out entirely because it's too hard to gear down. Another challenge that I think is related, actually, is that we just don't see too many local face-to-face clubs that are playing semi-regularly in the country. We've got one in Denver, we've got Chicago. I think the Bay Area still plays maybe a few house games a year, but there's not a lot of that, and that's connected to the burnout, right? Who's gonna lead that charge, and who's gonna provide the energy to sustain a local club? Because that's really difficult.
So obviously is. Now you are talking about getting help to people who need it. At one time the NADF president was a island unto him or herself. Now you have a board that can help you do what you're trying to do. Who is on the board coming into 2023?
Yeah, myself and Riaz Virani are the two who have stayed from the previous board. The other three, Siobhan Nolan, Randy Lawrence Hurt, Tanya Gill, are all ending their terms, and so we've already talked about who we want to tap for the next incoming three to come onto the board, but have not yet tapped those shoulders to invite them. So more to come on that, David. You might just have to. Maybe that's your next panel discussion, is whichever three we declare.
So it's an idea, and I appreciate your input as always. Well, we talked about challenges. What opportunities that we haven't already talked about do you think the hobby is experiencing right now in terms of positive things?
Yeah, I see two big opportunities. One that I think is on everybody's mind is what the splash of publicity that we just got from the Meta AI research team. New articles are still coming out on major publications about the AI that Noam Brown and crew created that is playing press diplomacy on web diplomacy. There was just a new one that came out from Vice I think Forbes did something. A lot of publications are talking about diplomacy right now, and so big opportunity is, well, people are going to see that. They're probably going to Google diplomacy. They're probably going to try to find out how they can play and get connected, and that's where the hobby really comes in as an answer to their questions. The other major opportunity I think we have is that diplomacy's publishing rights just got dealt, you could say, to Renegade Game Studios. They've been held by Hasbro for a number of years. Hasbro decided, they're a bigger company. They don't necessarily have the bandwidth for diplomacy. So they reached a deal with Renegade Games to publish and produce the game. And Renegade Games has some more energy and effort to give to that. And we've already been able to connect with the people at Renegade and talk to them and establish more of a relationship than we necessarily had with Hasbro. So I'm excited to see where that goes, how collaborating with them can help the game grow going forward.
Yeah, that is pretty exciting. Tell us what else you might want to tell your vast North American constituency that watches this show.
Absolutely. To the many, many thousands and millions of you out there, what I do want to say is, if you love this game and you're interested in getting involved, even if it's in a very small way, reach out. That's what I'm looking to do is find out where are the energetic young people or people of any age, with energy that are interested in diving in deeper into the hobby, finding ways to support the growth, even if you don't want to take on the whole gamut of starting a club. There's always work to be done, and I can help connect you to that work. So reach out if you want to get involved, and I'll find something for you.
Zach, I appreciate that comment. I appreciate very much you taking on this role. It's an important one, and I think that we've gotten a good person to take over from Siobhan Nolan. And thank you for all your other hobby service work, the VDL and helping with the DBN here. And thank you mostly for being my guest here on Deadline.
Appreciate it, David.
And now for our feature presentation. The culture of the diplomacy hobby has been and always will be in significant flux. Players wow us for a minute and then fade into obscurity as newer faces compete for our collective attention. Just when we begin to grow attached to a particular opening or tactical gambit, we chuck it into the garbage disposal because we hear the enticing tune of the ice cream truck of diplomacy innovation enticing us to try something tastier, more decadent. So how do you know what's still hot or what's kind of not in the world of diplomacy? Well, clearly you should ask our hobby's arbiters of hipness, British hobbyist Christopher Ward, Douglas Rintoul of Florida Man fame, and everyone's favorite two-timing tornado of tumult, Massachusetts' own Tommy Tombstone Anderson. Hey, you guys, and welcome to Deadline. All right, now the rules for this segment are very simple. I will give each of you a person, place, or thing. You tell me whether it's hot or not, and then give me a brief description of why you're right. Then the other two panelists can react if they wish on the same subject, and after that, we'll move on to the next person, place, or thing. Now, for our audience at home, let me emphasize, these three fellas have no advanced knowledge of what I'll be throwing at them. They don't need it because they are that good at calling things as they see them right off the cuff. So, fasten your diplomacy seatbelts, everyone. We are in for a bumpy, fun ride. Starting with you, Christopher Ward. Dan Lester's World DipCon Championship belt, hot or not?
Hot, definitely hot. Always great to see a Brit winning a title belt, flying the flag for the UK. And it looks like that belt has got lots of holes in, so you don't have to do what I normally have to do and then force extra holes through the leather. So definitely hot.
All right. Any comments, Tommy or Douglas?
I just agree. Those big, chunky champion belts are very, very hot.
Yes. Although it would be even hotter if it was on this side of the pond, but that's okay.
Wow. Okay. Little cross pond rivalry. Fair enough. All right. Florida Man, if you are ready, your hot or not question is the current online diplomacy championship, hot or not?
It's got to be hot, David. It's got to be hot. It's played on the site that I call home, Play Diplomacy. It's been very competitive, and I'm enjoying it a lot. Even though some unkind people did take the site down in the middle of this, and it had to be brought back up, you can't dislike such a fun competition.
Wardy?
Yeah, I'm thoroughly enjoying it. The better I do, the hotter it will be.
Tommy, are you in the ODC?
No, I'm not, unfortunately.
So then the answer is not.
So not so hot for me.
All right, Tommy, while we're with you, I want you to respond, hot or not, Eddie freaking Bersan, hot or not?
That's an easy answer. That is 12 out of 12, or 12 out of 10 flaming hot, or what's on the Schofield scale, like this ghost pepper hot, just the legend, the myth, the legend. I had the pleasure of playing with him once in person when my first times traveling, and I loved it. And he was kind of popping by the board games, kind of poking in and being like, after the game, I'll tell you what you did wrong here and here and here. I was like, yep, that sounds about right.
It actually does sound about right, because he will tell you whether you want to hear it or not.
Yeah.
Douglas or Wardy, any comments about Eddie freaking Bersan?
Just agreement, always on fire.
I mean, just a legend. Very jealous of those who've managed to get to play with Eddie since Face to Face has returned, and I'll have to get across to the States to engage in battle with the man that is.
All right, fair enough. Wardy, sticking with you and sticking with the concept of something that is legendary, hot or not, Robert Schupa's accent when he is rolling into the roar.
100%. Yes, please keep it up, brothers.
All right. Any other comments about Robert Schupa's accent?
I'm all for anyone's accent. I've always loved the French players' accents as well too, when they actually pronounce the French territories correctly. Yeah,
fair enough. All right, Florida man, hot or not, the Astro-Turk Alliance, the AT, hot or not?
So hot. It's so hot. I just had a great game with that, where I was the turkey. And it's a shame that a lot of people get intimidated by by the idea that this alliance might be unstable. It is absolutely hot when it goes off right.
All right, anybody want to say not on the AT? Come on now. It's okay to have a contrary opinion.
It was not for me this week. I was playing in the Windy Cindy Weasels game. I was Italy, and the AT eventually came rolling for me, so it wasn't so hot for
we got a not. We got a hot and a not. Wardy, break the tie.
I love it, but I can never make it work. I mean, hot as Turkey, not so hot as Austria. I'll go not.
You're going to go not. All right, we have a not on the AT Alliance. That is the wrong answer, but it is okay to have an answer that is sometimes wrong. All right, here we go. Tommy Anderson, hot or not? Brandon Fogel's aesthetic choices, hot or not?
Oh, 100% fuego, especially the design for the DBN. Just especially that new one he was trying out before with the with the Metro kind of system design. Like, he has a very good eye for just visual design elements, and I'm always impressed with the little elements that he's slowly built on over the past year and a half, 2 years or so.
All right, so we have a hot on Brandon Fogel's aesthetic choices. Wardy, Florida man, any opinions?
I mean, the main aesthetic choice he's made is join the Bald Brotherhood. So,
very good, very good. All right, Wardy, we are back to you, and the hot or not question for you is face-to-face diplomacy in the UK. Hot or not?
Hot. More, please. I had a great time at SparkCon. First time I ever played diplomacy face-to-face. And I did okay. And it was, just great. So props to Chris Walger for hosting that. And hopefully Gary Sturdy will be hosting us very soon.
Awesome. Any comments about face-to-face dip action in the United Kingdom?
Excited to hear how much it's been bouncing back, and I think face-to-face anywhere is great for the hobby. I think that's how it's meant to be played, really.
Fair enough. All right, Florida man, we are to you. I want to know whether it's hot or not that Oliver Lugg has this game of knife video with, I don't know, something like 214,000 views. Do you consider that hot or not? Because none of us, the rest of us, have 214,000 views.
Yeah, I was going to say not, because that's not my video.
Fair to say. All right. Any comments about the game?
Yeah,
of
I'm going to
knife
say
video?
hot. I'm going to say hot. I sent this to someone the other day who I'm trying to get in the hobby. So it's great, great little background historical lesson and overview of what the game entails. So yeah, I like that video. It's long, but well worth a watch.
I'm gonna have to watch this after this. I haven't seen it.
Oh, you need to see it because, for one thing, he does a great call out of the Eurovision Song Contest in addition to talking about the game of knife.
Tommy's not seen it. Tommy's clearly a nut.
I definitely got to see this after.
Yeah, I'm beginning to wonder whether Tommy is hot if he hasn't seen the video. I thought you would at least be within a 214,000 hot people, but whatever.
I'm not that popular, I guess.
Okay. All right, Tommy. Hot or not, the upcoming Cascadia Diplomacy Tournament in Vancouver, British Columbia.
Yeah, that's the first week of February, right?
It is.
Oh, I really want to go. I gotta book my tickets still, though. I mean, that's definitely hot because is it like the first face-to-face of the new year, is it? Or
I think that's right. Yes.
Okay, so definitely hot for that. So if anyone didn't go last year, your hotness scale will increase if you go this year.
All right. So what I'm hearing from Tommy is that he's going to go to this diplomacy tournament. What do you guys think about that?
I mean, great for Tommy, bad for everyone else.
It would be great for Tommy if he were actually going to go to the Cascadia Diplomacy Tournament. We shall see. And perhaps this subject will come up later in this segment of Deadline. All right, Wardy, back to you. Hot or not, Marcus Zylstra, hot or not? He's going
very
with
hot. Yeah. He's a legend. He's got fingers in many pies. He's so busy doing pretty much everything there is to do in the hobby, apart from playing. Really, well, 5-minute deadlines, but we won't count that, Marcus. A bot one, didn't it? So yeah, I think he's great. He didn't come to SpireCon, but I think we'll forgive him. But thoroughly entertaining, whatever he's doing, and a big asset to the hobby in general, I'd say.
All right, so we've got hot, but we got a couple of digs in there, Marcus. Apparently, you don't play, and you don't play with Wardy in person. But other than that, you might be. Any comments, Douglas? Any comments, Tommy?
I'm just looking forward to play with him again. I feel like I haven't played with him in forever in virtual face-to-face games, so that'd be fun. And hopefully, sometime this year.
Okay. All right, Florida man. Hot or not, the new diplomacy interface at Web Diplomacy. Hot or not?
Absolutely hot. I love it, and it's compared to the old diplomacy interface on Web Diplomacy, it's night and day. The old diplomacy interface on Web Diplomacy, you could look at my channel. I've made some videos where I've given it some flack, but this new one, I have no complaints. It's got a good chance of displacing whatever other diplomacy sites I'm using.
Oh, I was wondering if this was going to be threatening your play diplomacy commitment. Sounds like there's some wavering. Oh, here we go. It's news here, folks. This is big diplomacy hobby news here. There's a waiver on play diplomacy. Tom, any comments about Web Diplomacy's new interface?
I've been meaning to check it out. I first encountered that before Backstabber when I first kind of joined the hobby a couple of years ago, and I kind of got scared away. So I'd be curious to give it another try. We're
going to add that to the list of things that Tommy says he's going to do. Wardy, what do you say?
I couldn't read the old interface, so yeah, huge improvement.
I can't wait for Katie Gray to hear all of this and then argue that the old interface was superior. Can't wait for her or Karthik or somebody to come in here and start talking about that. All right, we are done with that. We are to you, Tommy, and I'm going to say that this one has 6 different words in it.
Oh.
So I'm going to go first with Pop, Squish. I'm sorry, Pop 6, Squish, Lipschitz, and you guessed it, Cicero. Did Cicero have it coming?
I feel like I should know this. I know the reference to Chicago, but I don't know about the reference to
Cicero is the new AI agent created by Facebook. It apparently beats up on people playing blitz diplomacy. Did we have it coming? Is Cicero what we had coming here?
I mean, I'm not surprised with the way AI or things are going in that direction. So it was only a matter of time. But now we just have to find new ways of figuring out their like speech patterns and whatnot, and try to kind of for press related things, I guess. But I'm not surprised that it can find more or find less or paths of friction like in the long run, or being able to like find like lines more efficiently and kind of map it in that sense.
Would you have remembered this AI agent from Facebook better if they had called it Lipschitz?
Possibly. Yeah, I did skim the paper a little bit, but I totally forgot that was the name.
Well, perhaps they should have gone with that, or perhaps you are going to be squished or popped by Cicero the next time. All right. Any other comments about Meta's AI agent Cicero?
Bah, humbug.
Oh, we've got a Scrooge. Okay, fair enough. Wardy, what do you say? Yay or nay? Hot or not?
I'll say hot. I think. Although there are, God, we're going to get serious for a moment. Although there are, lots of issues that we sort of need to keep in mind of while AI sort of improves over the coming years. I think this is a great step forward technologically. And how cool is it that diplomacy gets its moment in the sun, being recognized for the high standard of communication that it requires, and it was chosen as sort of a test bed for it. Great, I say.
All right, so we've got some hots, we've got some nots. Let's move on then to our next hot or not. This is for you, Christopher Ward. Hot or not? Ed Sullivan's back channel, hot or not?
Definitely hot.
Going with hot.
Definitely hot. I mean, I've said it before. I'll say it again. If I'm not a poor man's Ed Sullivan, I don't know what I am. I mean, speaking of hot, by the way, where did you get this photo from? Just
I have my sources. Yeah, this is one way Ed Sullivan could present to the world. He's not currently presenting to the world in this fashion.
I got to say, Ed's World DipCon interviews were great, particularly with the one with Eddie Besson springs to mind, and the one with Johnny Gillum as well. I thought it was great.
Yeah. All right. Any other comments about Mr. Ed Sullivan before we move on?
Definitely useful for actually getting to put a face to the voices, so people haven't seen face to face yet.
Nice. True. Yep. All right, Florida man, hot or not? Convoys to North Africa, hot or not?
I gotta go with not.
Oh, he's going with not. All right, tell us why.
I've seldom found that useful. I think that if you're convoying, you might as well send it someplace more efficient, like from Norway to Syria, or I don't really like convoying into North Africa. I think your army should be stranded on the European continent, not on the African continent that's barely part of the game.
All right, we've got a not also from Wardy. Why do you say not, Wardy?
I mean, I think Douglas covered it there. Where's it going to go? I mean, if you are trying to expand down there as France or England, then you want a fleet there to try and break the Tyrrhenian Sea, not have an army there just waving at Italian ships coming the other direction.
All right, there may be some hobbyists out there that are shouting at the screen now. Of course, you should convoy to North Africa. Tommy, are you one of those people?
Jameson.
I'm actually for novice.
John Jameson's out there screaming.
Oh,
He
yeah.
was screaming before this show started.
That's true.
So, Tommy, what do you got to say here?
I'm kind of in agreement with him as well. I'm not usually one to do it. I like pushing more towards, especially if I can get it into like Tuscany, or if I have coordination trying to get into the boot or something like that. Just trying to keep pushing forward that way is kind of nice.
All right.
But that can be useful sometimes. If you're trying to get Italy to move his army, the convoy away to North Africa, and then you can take the boot. Sometimes that's fun too, if you convince Italy to just get his army out of the way.
All right, so we're getting some equivocation from Tommy. That's not unusual. Tommy, let's see if you equivocate on this one. Hot or not? Whoops. Hot or not? Peter McNamara's big, beautiful mind.
Oh, he's definitely fun to play with. He's always very tactical. Like I always have such a hard time reading him because I feel like he's always like 10 steps ahead of me in terms of knowing. He's just such a breadth of knowledge of just how tactics can unfold in different like scenarios. And like I love when I'm trying to ally with him or negotiate with him, he'll wait for me to propose something. He won't like, even though he may want to work with me, he'll wait for me to propose the optimal solution without trying to tell me anything or like give me any information. But he never tries to like, I feel like purposely trick me, which is kind of interesting, but he's definitely, I definitely enjoy playing with him because I never know if he's going to work with me or not, depending on how stupid I'm being at the time.
Tommy says he's a crafty SOB. Wardy, what do you say?
I mean, he's just one of the best minds in the hobby, is he not? You know, he's calm, he's quiet, he's on what Tommy was saying about him, not sort of pushing an agenda. He's a listener. He likes to see where other people are at. I think he's hard to read, but super polite, respectful, and you always kind of you don't want to attack him really.
Yeah.
Speak for yourself. I want to attack him every time I see him. All right. Wardy, we are back to you. 3 builds as France, hot or not? 3 builds in 1901 as France.
That's tough. That's tough, David.
That's why I asked. I'm a penetrating journalist. Go.
I'll go hot. I mean, if you can get them and keep your neighbors on side, then why not? Sometimes you can. I've seen it done where people have waived one of their builds, but once you get to that position, you're very difficult to attack as France anyway. So I don't think it's a huge problem if you do 3, and you might get attacked if you only had 1 or 2 anyway.
All right, we've got a hot. Anybody say not? Don't do 3 builds. Don't do 3 builds as France. What are you kidding? Don't do that. Anybody going to say that? All right. I'll hold you to it.
I would say, I mean, it depends. That's like kind of what we're saying is that like depends on your neighbors. Like if I've gotten the jump on England and I know I can work really well with the German player and like they've already started moving towards them, then like, okay, I'm just going full on double fleet builds, just going and have an army kind of protect down below if the Italians start to kind of wander in and just go. But yeah, it depends on the neighbors. I always kind of, but I generally like the wave because usually I can never get someone like immediately on side, either E or G.
All right. Douglas, we'll transition to you because hot or not, 3 builds for Germany in 1901. Hot or not?
Oh boy, I think that is hot. I mean, Germany is a big target. It's in the middle of the map, but you might as well have those units be in Germany rather than in the hands of enemies.
Okay, that involves the fleet to Holland. You guys are in favor of the fleet to Holland in spring 1901. It sounds like it. Wardy? No? Yes?
No, I don't like the fleet to Holland version. No. I wouldn't necessarily go looking for 3 builds, but you can pick up. It depends what the Belgian situation is with the Munich army, I guess. But if you can get it, it secures your position
right.
nicely.
We
got 2 hots. Tommy, are you also hot on 3 German builds 1901?
Yeah, I definitely love doing it too. I've had bad luck with it. But it's definitely fun if you can just, especially if you're doing kind of a Western triple as well too. It can be kind of interesting because you want that 3 if you don't want to get squished in the middle, and put pressure on Russia potentially. But I definitely usually tend to do 3 for Germany.
Well, I would encourage you not to get squished or popped.
Yeah.
Lipschitz. All right, Tommy, we are back to you. We talked about 3 builds as France, 3 builds as Germany. How about, and I'm not asking you for any particular reason, maybe, but how about, hot or not, 3 disbands as anybody in diplomacy? 3 disbands. I'm not saying it's never happened to you before, although I looked it up and yes, it has.
Oh yeah, I think I've had like 4 disbands once or 5 even. Not so fun. If you're on the receive, well, if you're the one that's forcing those disbands, it's hot. But if you're receiving, not so hot.
All right, Wardy, you're a not. It's dramatic. It's fun. It's dramatic, right?
You hate to see
for
it.
everybody else.
Yeah, I always found disbands hard to choose as well, even harder than what to build. It's like, what the hell do I pull? Especially if you weren't necessarily expecting to have to take units off the board. But hey, I mean, if you got to take them off in the disband phase, then they weren't blown up.
Yeah, that's right. Sort of. All right, no, it's Wardy's turn, I believe. Let me double check this. Yes, it is Wardy's turn. Wardy, hot or not, Canadians in general, or Riaz Varani in particular? Hot or not?
Hot.
Very hot.
I've got sort of part Canadian blood in me. I've got my grandfather was born in Montreal, so I've got to stick with the maple leaf here. And Riaz, I mean, he's attacked me in gunboats so very, very many times. And how did I reward him? Well, by helping him become virtual world champion, of course. But Riaz is one of the politest people you're ever likely to meet.
Well, that is certainly true. Any other comments about Canadians in general,
Well,
or Riaz Varani in particular?
Also, being French Canadian myself on both my mom and dad's side, I kind of have to say hot.
Fair enough. All right, Florida man, let's go to you. Hot or not, turkeys in general, or the SevCon shuffle in particular? Hot or not?
I think I've got to go hot with, especially with turkeys in general, because I think it's kind of, I don't know if this is generally acknowledged, but a lot of people really like Turkey and think it's the most powerful country and the best to play with. I am not necessarily of that camp, but I think that there are a lot of people who hold that opinion for a reason, and Turkey has a great record in diplomacy.
All right. Now, virtual folks, you're all screaming at the screen saying Turkey's the worst country in virtual diplomacy by far. So let's hear about it. Hot or not, turkeys or the SevCon shuffle in particular?
I tend to love it. I know virtual gets a bad rep. Everyone just demolishes it, especially in the meta this past year. Like I haven't seen any rats in a long time. I do like the shuffle though. I just started seeing that for the first time the other day, or someone was telling me about it proposing it the other day to me, and it definitely gives you a good little momentum. Working with like an RT is kind of nice, or even with an RET, I guess. But I tend to like it, but I've had bad luck with it this past year.
Fair enough.
Hot for Turkey, but not for the SevCon shuffle. I like the idea of it. I think I tried it 3 times in quick succession in games, and none of them were pulled off. They were either red or I was stabbed, or it just egg on face.
All right. Well, I'm not saying it's because you were doing it. I'm just going to go ahead with the SevCon shuffle. No problem. All right, Tommy. Peru in general, and or Tanya Gill in particular, who now is in Peru.
It's funny because we have right now the GM for a gunboat game. I called it Tanya Likes Peru, and Tanya's in that one right now. Oh, that's right. You guys are in it too, I think, right? Yeah.
Yes, I'm in it.
Yeah. No, she's a fantastic player to play with. Every time I play with her in face-to-face or online, I always like go to her first to ally with, because I've always been able to work like brilliantly with her. So I've always wanted to go to the country of Peru. My ex-girlfriend was Peruvian, and she was always telling me how beautiful it was there. So I'd always love to go there someday. But yeah, I'd say hot for both.
All right, he's going hot. Anybody else have any opinions about Peru in general or Tanya Gill in particular?
I'd say, I mean, for Machu Picchu alone, Peru is hot, right? Tanya, I've never played with Tanya.
What the heck?
It's not a second gunboat game together, but like that's anonymous, and so it's a bit different. But yeah, we've never played virtual or face to face, so or press. Wow. I don't know. Don't know about that one.
Wow.
But
Okay, then.
Clearly a great player.
All right.
I have to say hot on both because, I hear great things about Peru. Latin America has so many beautiful places. And Tanya, clearly a treasure to the hobby. I love the image you got of her because, Legendary Tactics always gets the best people they can find to explain how to win as each country. And Tanya ends up explaining one of the most notoriously chancy countries to play as, Austria. So that says all you need to know, really.
Well, and just a quick serious comment, Peru's currently going through some political instability. I hope that everyone stays safe, including our friend and colleague, Tanya Gill. All right. Back to you, Wardy. New NADF president, Zachary Moore, and all that. Hot or not?
What is it? Was this a correct slide, David?
He was the hobby ambassador of the year last year. It's true.
I mean,
going with a no. That's fair. Totally fair. The case of Zachary Moore. Go.
Don't waste my time, David.
Fair. No, I support that. Anybody else want to give a contrary opinion?
Absolutely. He for me, hot. I have a personal reason why. It's that in my longest video series that I ever made, which was on a single game, it was like multiple hour-long videos. I interviewed each of the players. He volunteered to be one of my players. He was Austria, I believe. And I love the charisma on this guy. If we're going to have someone be a president of an organization, be an ambassador for the hobby, if we're going to have somebody represent us to the world and try and draw more people in, Zachary Moore is one of the best.
All right. We've got a hot vote from Douglas. He's wrong about this. Tommy, what do you think?
I say I still owe him some bar hopping when next time he's in Boston, so I gotta give him hot for that.
Also wrong. All right. Here we go. Florida man, Brother Board and all that. Hot or not?
Absolutely hot. Brother Board is the best. He is, I think Brother Board should be Hobby Ambassador 2023 or something, because he is driving a lot of new interest in the hobby as well. He is such a subject matter expert when it comes to gunboat diplomacy, and also such a great guy. I think that more people are going to be checking out Brother Board and his content in the future.
All right. Any other comments, Wardy or Tommy, about Brother Board? I got a hot from Wardy. We got a. Are you going to equivocate on this one too, Tommy? Or you're going to give us a.
No, I definitely. I mean, I think everything they were just saying about driving a lot of new people to the hobby with all the material out there, I think has been a great asset. So definitely hot as well.
All right. We've had Zachary Moore and all that. We've had Brother Board and all that. Tommy? Karthik Khan's hair and all that.
Ah, okay.
Hot or not? His hair, particularly.
I like his hair. I wish I could grow long hair. I can't, unfortunately. My hair is very thin. But I was more surprised the first time I met him in person in Boston. We went out to eat. No, I'm very jealous of his luscious long locks. It's very hot. Oh, there you go.
All right, Chris, what does that mean for you? You're going hot with Karthik Khan's hair. Okay.
Yeah, I don't have any hair of my own, so I have to live vicariously through others. And Karthik, yeah.
Well, he's got plenty. You can share it with him. Douglas, any comments about Karthik Khan's hair before we move on?
I respect the fact that this man is able to have hair like that and employment at the same time.
It's a valid point you're making. Valid point you're making. All right, Christopher Ward. Hot or not, the Diplomacy Briefing newsletter, the weekly newsletter, Diplomacy Briefing, hot or not?
Definitely hot. I'm always like 5 or 6 days at least late reading it, but I always read it, and it's a great, what they call risk assessment. No, that's not right.
I think that is what they call it, the risk assessment of the diplomacy community or something like that.
So Russ has assembled a great team at the briefing, and they keep everyone up to date, as do you, David, on this very show.
Hey, that's what we call in the business a segue, Douglas. Diplomacy Broadcast Network, hot or not? By the way, there's only one answer to this question. Go.
Oh my God, hot. Oh my, it's the hottest thing you've mentioned so far, David. It's on fire.
Correct.
It's like a rocket going off to the moon.
Correct.
It's like blue steel hot. It's so hot right now.
Also correct. Any other very correct comments about DBN?
Less sack more. That's my only note. That's my only note.
That will be taken under advisement and given due consideration. Tommy, we've talked about the briefing. We've talked about DBN. Hot or not, all the various diplomacy tournaments you've said you were going to go to, hot or not?
I knew you were hinting at this before this is coming. No, this year I actually am. I am making, and I probably won't be able to make it to Cascade because it's too late now. But I am gonna. Winston, I got to make a schedule and actually book things for this year because
that is all Trek. You do have to do that, yes.
Yeah, I'm gonna make a very strong effort this year to at least go to like half of them. That is like the promise I am gonna make, especially the Boston Massacre one. That was really silly of me missing.
Yes, there's one in Boston. There's also another one in February in Boston at the end of February.
Oh, that's in
TotalCon.
Yeah,
it's in the Boston area. I know it's not in Boston proper, but it's in Massachusetts.
Yeah, that's not far from where I'm from Central Mass, not far from there. No. That one I definitely got to look at the registration for that. Like that one's is easy for me.
And then there's DixieCon in May.
Yeah,
there's the whipping in April. There are other possibilities for you to give us broken promises. Anybody else want to say hot or not on various tournaments that Tommy did not go to after promising he would? Hot or not?
Just not on Tommy's broken promises. Full stop. I mean, if you talk about Cascadia, like a virtual Cascadia a year ago. Oh, I promise I want to AI with you, Wardy. Oh, I promise I won't open to Tyrolia and Venice. Oh, I promise I won't tap Serbia. Oh, boo-hoo. The tornado got me.
Well, you're not the only one. Wardy, back to you. Hot or not, Yorkshire pudding.
Ooh.
Either Yorkshire pudding or the opening. Either one.
I mean, I don't care for the opening, but I mean, a Yorkshire pudding. I mean, what is there not to love? It's just lovely batter to have.
I don't know what the hell is Yorkshire pudding anyway.
What?
Oh, it's so good.
It's just it's a battery addition to your roast dinner, or fill it with sausages and mashed potato and gravy.
You like the drippings and stuff. Yeah.
Oh, that does sound good. That sounds good. Douglas, how about you? The garlic Thanksgiving. Hot or not? Either the opening or the food. Hot or not? I mean, the alliance or the food. Hot or not?
Absolutely hot. I love garlic Thanksgiving when I'm turkey. And I really enjoy working with Italy right up until the moment when garlic Thanksgiving becomes a Turkish solo.
Yeah,
I don't know what this is. What is this?
In the virtual world, we call the IT the Kraken. But in some places online, they call it the garlic Thanksgiving.
Ah, well, in that case.
He's going hot.
Otherwise, McCarlis is going to write to me angrily.
Yeah, when is that not true? All right, Tommy.
I tried to do it this past Wednesday, but we just had no momentum. I was just playing Italy, and then it formed into an AT, and I just got swallowed up.
Yeah, we're hearing a lot of war stories about how things that didn't work out for you last week.
Yeah, nothing seems to be working for me lately.
All right, well, let's talk about the Minty Wintergreen Alliance, Tommy. The Wintergreen, hot or not?
I like that too. It's nice because as long as you're not having to deal with France and like Turkey, as long as you can keep getting the AT to keep fighting, even while you slowly still keep coming in, then it's great. But otherwise, if the AT can start working together real quick, then if Turkey starts negotiating with Austria and building fleets and then coming at me, and if France starts coming, then it's kind of a pain. I've never really had success with it, I guess. And actually, have I? No, I don't think I have.
Well, how about you guys? Russia-Italy alliance, the wintergreen, hot or not?
I like it. A bit of trepidation if you're Italy, in case because you've got to decide who to get rid of first, Austria or Turkey, right?
Right.
Rather it be Turkey, but then squeeze Austria later. Otherwise, you could be defending against an RT pretty quickly. But yeah, I like it. I like it.
Okay.
The diplomacy is right.
All right.
I like it a lot. I think that whether you're Italy or Russia, this is one of the most effective ways to use either of those two countries, and hardly anyone ever sees it coming.
That's
Actually,
true.
I take that back. That one game, that I forget the name of the tournament, the one where I won with that solo was a late wintergreen where Russia just threw to me, which was nice. I think he was Russian, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, it's always good to forget the games in which you were thrown a solo and win a tournament. But I'm glad you finally remembered one.
I was
All right.
Cascadia. That was the same game.
That's that one. Yeah.
All right, Wardy, we're
Yes.
back to you. We're back to you. And the question to answer hot or not is your fellow panelist, Tommy Anderson, hot or not? Hot. Okay.
I promise I'll be kinder next board.
I mean, I love you, but I mean, don't be next to him on a board. Come on.
Very, very not. Apparently, very, very not on Tommy Anderson. All right, Florida man, your fellow panelist, Christopher Ward.
Is that,
Oh,
that's really got me in the right light.
I thought so. I think the hair really looks good on you. But anyway, Florida man, what do you say? Christopher Ward, go.
gotta say hot. I mean, I think that I think we've got some top-notch panelists today, and especially Christopher Ward.
All right, glad to hear it. Tommy, your fellow panelist,
He gets
Florida man or the entire state of Florida, whichever one you want to say, hot or not.
oh, for Olympic in Florida. Oh no, I'm kidding. Well, the temperature, it's definitely warm climate down there. I love going to Miami, and I've loved playing with him too. I mean, everyone that I've played with on this the panelist wise here today, I've always enjoyed playing with you guys. Are always very polite to and fun to play with. So definitely hot.
All right, Wardy, back to you. This is your final question on the person, place, or thing that is hot or not hot. Me.
In more ways than one, David.
Okay.
In more ways than one.
All right. So we've got the correct answer from Wardy. Florida man, hot or not, me.
Oh my God, David
Yep,
Hood.
that's me, Wardy with the wig. Yes. Go.
Beautiful.
David Hood is the hottest thing on DBN right now. So
Also correct. Very much correct answer. Tommy, hot or not, me. At about age 16, me.
It's hotter than what's that name of Zoolander school for? You remember he has like the tiny model. I forget where for the school for kids who
don't read good.
Oh, okay, that's the wrong comparison. Then never mind. No, definitely the Master of Fuego.
Yeah, I agree with that. All right, guys. Thank you very much for being on Hot or Not and on Deadline, and keep stabbing. Thanks to all of you watching at home. We hope you have enjoyed this broadcast of Deadline. If you have news, ideas for features, or feedback of any kind, please feel free to send an email to info@diplobn.com, or you can drop me a line directly using gamerhood@charter.net. A note to my longtime viewers here, my Dixicon email address is messed up right now, but it's under repair. For our other broadcast offerings, visit our website at diplobn.com. This is David Hood signing off. I wish you brightness and bliss and, of course, Belgium.